celebration of 20 years of American Idiot, we are reviewing each and every disc in the box set. And right now we're doing Heart Like a Hand Grenade. I'll show you the disc and stuff. But I've already done 20 years of American Idiot and live at the BBC, and we're going in reverse order. So this is next. We're working our way up to a giant album review of American Idiot, the studio record. But this is my review, my film review of Heart Like a Hand Grenade. I remember back in 2015 tracking down a theater that was showing this movie. It was a little bit tricky. And there was some kind of technical problem with my ticket, and I was freaking out like Jilly Bo Leg Week. But the theater, they made it right and let me in anyway. And then 9 years has gone so fast, and I have a nifty Blu-ray to celebrate that's buried between Irving Plaza, which I'm reviewing next, and 20 years of American Idiot and BBC Live, which I've already reviewed, like I said. Heart Like a Hand Grenade is an intriguing documentary that offers in-depth looks at the making of American Idiot, the groundbreaking Green Day record. And this baby popped off in 2015. The film provides candid and unfiltered, sometimes a little too unfiltered, perspectives on the creative process behind one of the most significant rock albums of the early 2000s, and in my opinion, maybe the greatest album of all time. I especially like when Billie Joe of Green Day, when he calls us gremlins, the Green Day fans on the message boards. We can be gremlin-like. So, moving on to the cinematic approach and style of the movie, Heart Like a Hand Grenade does have some weird features. Like there's a lot of like burlesque dancers smoking cigarettes. It kind of, I think it was a little ahead of its time. It's like Joker Folia ducks. Heart Like a Hand Grenade is primarily composed of footage filmed during the recording sessions in 2003 by one John Rawracker, pretty cool guy if you ask me, capturing Green Day in their element as they navigate the complexities of songwriting and production. Director, as I mentioned, John Rawracker, he really adopts a raw, almost fly-on-the-wall style of capturing the band. Like, it immerses us, the viewer, in the band's environment, the studios and the bedrooms of Jason White. That was 20 years of American Idiot. This approach lends kind of an authenticity to the album and the narrative surrounding American Idiot, making us kind of feel like we're part of the recording rather than just fans listening to a record. There's a lot of like really WTF art house footage. Like I was saying, dancers smoking cigarettes. Trey Cool's wiener is in here, and like Arthur Fleck, who is not the Joker, said, you wouldn't get it. You're not going to get Trey Cool's wiener, but you will. You'll see it. Context and themes of this, not record, but movie. I'm so used to talking about music instead of films. At its core, Heart Like a Hand Grenade is not just the creation of American Idiot, it's kind of the reflection of the world at the time in 2004 with its political and socio reverberations. The film really kind of tackles the tension and frustration that kind of inspired Billie Joe to write these songs in the American society. You get like stuff, kind of vague references to the Iraq War and W. Bush, his presidency. So through these kind of weird interviews and studio sessions, Billie, Mike, and Trey, they discuss and share their feelings of disillusionment and desire to kind of make a protest song or protest record. And the elements that they used are kind of, they show the album as more important than a collection of songs. Like the entire American Idiot album is just a powerful statement. And I think, for me personally, I think of American Idiot as a breakup album and a coming of age story. But there is that town bishop and politicians and politics and holiday that do play a key factor in the world as well. There's one scene with Billie Joe playing piano, and the collar of his golf shirt is messed up. So I thought that was like a really interesting moment. Like, he's rich, he's powerful, but his collar's messed up. And I was like, I wonder if he knows. I wonder if he cares. I wonder if he did it on purpose. Like, it's purposely messed up. You ever think about that? Huh? One of the standout elements of the documentary is the portrayal of the band's dynamics, with Billie Joe Armstrong, Mike Dirntey, and Frank sharing personal anecdotes and insights, revealing their camaraderie and kind of their fiery cylinders that they like to shoot off of. Viewers like me and you, like you and I, can get the collaborative spirit that kind of came to fruition on American Idiot, where Mike and Trey were kind of vying for a more important role in Green Day. There are tensions with, I think that's where this album came from, was a lot of that Mike and Trey wanting to put some more input into the creative process. The film does show each and every band member kind of dedicated to the crafting of the songs, to making them better, showing the experimentation, the boundary pushing. There's a version of Green Day from their first decade or so, even beyond that, that would have never recorded something like Jesus of Suburbia or Holiday or Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I would argue that She's a Rebel is maybe the only thing on American Idiot that old school Green Day would have ever touched. Actually, if you think about it, She's a Rebel actually sounds kind of like Dookie. And people don't like She's a Rebel for some reason, but I do for some reason. During the very, very, very juicy studio banter, Mike Dirnt talks about how little he plays bass in Wake Me Up When September Ends. And then he adds, this is a really special moment for me. He says, it's about time you wrote this song. And it kind of has a double meaning. Like, that's a double-edged sword, right? I think he was talking about, like, an easy song for Mike to power through, jokingly. But then, like, they knew it was going to be a big hit. And the most kind of emotional part is, like, you needed to write a song like this about your dad. So the musical highlights of Heart Like a Hand Grenade, they kind of give us little treasure troves throughout, like Go-Karts and Guns Are Treasures, right? You get the writing, the rehearsing, the recording of Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Wake Me Up When September Ends, and the glimpses of the songwriting is really something special, with Armstrong discussing his inspirations and evolutions. There's a lot of evolution that we see in the box set, right? So you kind of get to see some of that in live action, and some of the studio novelties and tricks that the band use. Rob Cavallo really pushed the band to outperform what they had brought to him prior on Cigarettes and Valentines. I spelled it Valentites there for some reason, so that's weird. And even some other projects that they played for him. So there's still a mystery about Cigarettes and Valentines. Was it that album? Was it another album? Was it another band altogether? The emotional significance of Heart Like a Hand Grenade is like the palpable sense of vulnerability in that Heart Like a Hand Grenade. The band grapples with their very real band drama, like with their fears and insecurities as individuals, and they strive to create an album for their fan base and for a broader cultural world in general. The kind of emotion makes the documentary relatable, and there's a lot of universality in this display of American Idiot. Green Day really needed to shift gears, and with people not liking the direction of Warning, this was the do or die album. Would Green Day stand still and become a junkie? That was a letter bomb reference. And another element I'm talking about is the emotional significance in that we get a glimpse. Again, we talked about it a little bit ago, but Mike and Trey in the Emperor's new clothing. They're like doing some hot tub time machines. It's like the Foxborough hot tubs are there in the Emperor's new clothes. And that, you know, I mean, you got to pause, but it's in Blu-ray. It's very interesting stuff. In summary, by that dude, Heart Like a Hand Grenade it's a must-have for Green Day fans. I don't know why I didn't get it earlier. Maybe I was waiting on this. I know some people are like, why did they include this? I wanted it. I've always wanted a copy of it. I never had one, so now I got one, sucker. So if you're interested in the intersection of music and politics, or you're an international super fan like this dude, this shows American Idiot and also kind of Green Day's artistic vision in the world of 2004, i.e. a confused world pumped up on television screens and wacko jacko politics. Nothing like 2024 or 2025 is going to be, or 2026 and 2027. Nothing like today's world at all. Clearly, it's both a celebration of creativity and a reminder of the power of music to challenge the status quo, even if you're in a big pop band like Green Day. There's insightful storytelling through film. Congratulations, John Roacker. You're really cool and really artsy. And the intimate footage of the band's naughty bits. It shows the Green Day legacy being continued and put out there in 2003 and 4. And it shows that Green Day are not just a band, but they are a voice of a generation for many generations to come, at least through Gen Alpha, probably Gen Beta, Kappa, Delta. Gen Delta is going to love Green Day. Heart Like a Hand Grenade is a near perfect 4.9 out of 5, a fraction of a point lost because I want to hear lost polka songs and lost salsa music that Green Day recorded, not just little teasers of it. Screw cigarettes and Valentines. I spelled it Valentims this time. Cigarettes is so hard to spell. Screw cigarettes and Valentims, or cigarette and Valentines, because with a guy like Donnie Passman on their legal team, I got that from the credits. There's no way you can sue Green Day. A little teaser was to come. So we did that one. 20 Years of American Idiot, BBC Live. We just did this one. I've got the video ready to go for the next disc, which is live at Irving Plaza. And I believe I've got the video ready to go for the demos. Then we got bonus tracks and B-sides. And then it's on to the flipping album. And I'm going to read the book, the 44-page book. I'm going to read it to you like you're a little baby. Thank you.